Hi there. I'm Shivan Sarna, and what a treat to have you here. We really appreciate your energy and your time. And my friend, Stephen Wright, is with us today. And Stephen is an engineer by trade. He had a, no pun intended, crap ton bunch of stuff wrong with him, and he went on his own journey to heal himself. And as a result, he also has now helped millions of people with their gut and their health. Today is a session that we lovingly call Ask Us Anything within reason. And we will do our best to answer your questions and also connect you if maybe we know someone who knows more, about what you need than we could possibly ever know. And we'll try to guide you because we do know a ton of people. We also have some fun coupons for you today, which I always love. And if you have any questions, pop them into the Q&A box and let's get started. Hi, Stephen.
Hey, Siobhan.
Hello. Hi. Hi.
Hello
How's it
there.
going over there?
Good, good.
Okay. You ready? We're going to just dive right in.
Yeah.
By the way, if anyone has any questions about how to handle food and like dating and weird diets, I say weird lovingly, and social situations that come up all the time, Stephen and I have a lot of ideas around that because we have been there. I literally, Stephen, had a guy that I was dating 100,000 years ago whose name I cannot even remember. I'm a vegetarian. He was not. And he literally broke up with me, which didn't go anywhere anyway, and wasn't going to, and said, I can't believe I'm giving up the girl of my dreams because I want to eat a cheeseburger. And I was like, dude, thank you so much for letting me know exactly what is up. I'm like, you just self-qualified perfectly. And he can eat as many cheeseburgers as he wants. That's none of my business, but it was so hysterical that was his comment. I was like, okay, I don't think I'm the girl of your dreams then. All right. Any thoughts on ox bile and digestive enzymes for those struggling with digestive fats? Well, don't you know you're online with digestive enzyme expert Stephen Wright? Go for it, Stephen.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you have a gallbladder. If you don't have a gallbladder, people don't need to have one or not have one to use ox bile. But I think people who lose their gallbladder are the ones who typically end up in the ox bile rabbit hole. And um, it makes sense, right? You're thinking, well, I don't have this organ, and it only makes bile. Probably need some more bile then because I got no organ. That being said, my clinical experience over the last 15 years is that the majority of people who have fat digestion issues, and how would you know if you had fat digestion issues? You'd probably know because whenever you ate a fatty food, you might experience loose stools, you might experience diarrhea, you might experience some cramping, bloating. You will see oil, kind of an oily sheen in the toilet. That's another sign of fat malabsorption. So all these people, probably have fat digestion issues. And number one thing that they need is lipase, which is a digestive enzyme. And some people need an extraordinarily large amount of lipase. Like they need much more that's in HoloZyme if they have like severe issues. And then other people can use a little bile. And one of the reasons why bile is important is because bile kind of separates the fat molecules. It sort of opens up the fat molecules for the digestion. And so I'm not anti-bile, but what I've seen is that a lot of people think they're handling the fat digestion issue by taking bile, but they're not. You need the lipase first, and then if the lipase doesn't work, then you can add in the bile. And you could, someone's probably going to ask about TUDCA. You could try TUDCA or ox bile. Either one could work better or worse for you. Ox bile is obviously a bovine extract. So, like Shivan wouldn't use ox bile, but Shivan could use TUDCA. And so depending on your philosophy around life, you might try one or the other. In my opinion, TUDCA is more powerful than ox bile. And ox bile is problematic sometimes because you just don't know the quality of the extract you're getting on a regular basis. And then year to year, just like curcumin and ashwagandha change year to year based on the temperature and the soils and everything. So do the animals. So I'm a bigger fan of TUDCA with enzymes, but I'm a fan of enzymes first and higher dosing the enzymes because that's what I've seen to be more applicable on a regular basis for people with fat digestion.
Excellent. Okay. And also, when you signed up for this session today, you got Stephen's incredible masterclass on digestive enzymes. So be sure to scroll through there too. And we have a coupon for you for HoloZymes, which I'm in the process of putting into the chat. And I've got to grab one more link and I'll do that in a second. I'm going to let you keep going there, Stephen. And that is, okay, Elena, do you sell vagus nerve stimulation devices on your website? You mentioned it in one of your webinars. What is the name? I'm actually doing a webinar on that tomorrow with Dr. Rob Van Bergen, who is an expert in all that. And if you, Elena, email us, I'm surprised you're not on the email list, at info@sibosos.com. I'll put that in the chat too. We'll send you an invitation to it for tomorrow. If I really have my act together, I'll try to find that link too, which I will. But that is frequency specific microcurrent that he has, and I swear by it. That has helped my pain so much. Do you have a suggestion, Stephen, for that?
I use the Pulsetto.
Okay. No idea what that is. That's cool.
It's like a vagal nerve, it's like a headband around your neck. So it's a neck band, and it's got two electrodes on either side, so you don't have to like sit there shocking yourself with a taser gun, which I don't like.
It's horrendous. Okay.
Most vagal stimulators you have to like hold. I don't know the one you're talking about. I've never seen, so it sounds really cool. But
it's cool.
A lot of the ones on the market you have to like hold up to your vagal nerve.
And they have some with ear clips too, which that's kind of handy too. Okay, hold on. Here's the link if you would like a discount on some of the products that Stephen has created, including HoloZymes. Use code SIBOSOS to save 15%. I don't know if that's right. I need to double check. With free shipping in the US of orders of over 125. This product focus is HoloZyme, but it's anything on the site is fine. Okay.
There was a follow-up question, like if your lipase levels are normal yet you struggle with digesting fats, would you still recommend lipase? Okay. And yeah, 100%. I would still recommend HoloZyme. I would still recommend trying 3 or 4 capsules of HoloZyme if you're having fat digestion issues. Now, if you've heard me speak before at all over the last 15 years, you know that everything I say is like you should verify. So you should try it and see if it's something that's actually going to work for you. So my clinical experience, again, is that 80% of the time you can handle fat digestion with a high quality enzyme. You might just have to dose a little higher. In some cases you cannot, and you need to take an ox bile or a TUDCA. And there's other people asking, what's better, TUDCA, ox bile? I read this, I read that. You're just going to have to try them. Like there's no study in the world, there's no clinic with enough data that's trialed those two things, because who trials those two things versus each other in a massive sample size? It just doesn't happen. So again, my hierarchy, if I was doing this and I had fat digestion, is I would get HoloZyme, take advantage of the discount. I would try 2 per meal. If that didn't take care of it, I'd try 3 or 4. If that didn't take care of it, then I would add in 1 TUDCA, 250 milligram, and see if that takes care of it. If not, you could do 500 milligrams of TUDCA. And then if not, finish the bottle of TUDCA, get some ox bile from like Now or Biotics or somebody, Body Bio, and then try that.
Okay. This, of course, is a medical advice. These are just our educational ideas and brainstorming for you. And Elena, I put the email for the frequency-specific microcurrent invitation in the chat, and then there's the coupon information. Okay. A is saying, if I've been using Tributyrin X for over a year, tapered down to 1 tab a day for 6 months, use a prokinetic and a spore-based probiotic. I've healed my IBS and SIBO 98%. Yay! But I still have a food reaction if I eat onions or broccoli. A lot of people do. Any help with this food reaction?
Yeah, it sounds like it's probably fructans. So the fructans are part of the FODMAP category, but fructans are a super common part of vegetables and some fruits that we eat. And onions and broccoli happen to be higher in those. It could be sulfur as well. So sulfur is a possibility as well. It depends on the type of reaction. I don't know if it's like a histamine reaction or if the bloating reaction. Like reaction is a very unspecific term to me. It has to be qualified. But yeah, I would try an alpha galactidase enzyme. Like if your enzyme doesn't have alpha galactidase in it, and you could try that. There's also FODMate by Microbiome Labs, which has a bunch of alpha-galactidase in it. HoloZyme has alpha-galactidase. You also want to make sure there's a bunch of cellulase in there and a bunch of invertase. Yeah, invertase is the other one. So those three, invertase, cellulase, and alpha-galactidase, help break down fructans. There's also a product called FODzyme, but I've never tried that one. So yeah, typically it's a fructan issue. Typically it's a low enzyme issue. And you'd be surprised on how many people are just aging and need an enzyme support product.
Right. Well, which is, if you've never tried a digestive enzyme, that should literally, I would try HoloZyme first, and it will probably spoil you for a lot of other digestive enzymes, by the way, because there's also those of us who prior to HoloZyme, like we've tried so many other digestive enzymes, like a lot, like ridiculous amounts. And nothing happened. Nothing changed. And then you try HoloZyme and you're like, oh, this is what I was hoping for the whole time. And that's why so many people are so loyal to it. And Stephen has a really nice return policy. So like if it doesn't work for you or whatever, you read the instructions, you've got a return option. A lot of places don't do that, but he's really committed to making sure you're happy and healthy. Also, do you have a solution for sending to Canada? Canada Post is on strike at the moment. Yikes. Okay. Sorry. I mean, so could you do, what else does one do?
The only way that I've heard of to get into Canada at the moment is a reshipper, and the reshipper sends FedEx.
Got it. Okay.
And like, so you'd have to order from Healthy Gut. And my team can do this. We're doing it for a few individuals who are, really big proponents of our products, and they're, struggling. They weren't anticipating this, but Canada Post is like a much more powerful USPS in the States, and they have everything shut down right now.
Yikes.
And we tried to circumvent them, and someone had to pay like $160 in duties, and she was super pissed, and like it wasn't our fault, but we were just trying to help her. So
what's the customer support number or email for people to do that?
Just support at Healthy Gut, or you can call the 1-888-612-5997, I think. It's on the website though.
Okay. Okay. And what, so Liz, iPhone, what are your thoughts about elemental diet for SIBO? Actually, I have some breaking news on this.
Oh,
huge fan. I do. For it. I just met with Dr. Allison Seebecker, world-renowned SIBO specialist, and our friend, and also Dr. Ali Rezai from Cedars-Sinai in the MASS program, who works so closely with Dr. Pimentel. These two are like brain Gemini genius twins. And we just had an hour and a half conversation with him yesterday about the elemental diet for SIBO. And the results are in from the clinical trial that they did, 100% for hydrogen taken care of. EMO, the methanogens, was still phenomenal. I think it was like over 50%. And
how many days?
14, I think. It's like 14. And it's the Mbiota formulation, which is what Dr. Ali Rezai and Dr. Mark Pimentel created. Honestly, like people could say, well, they created it and they did a study. It doesn't really work like that all the time. Like most of the time it doesn't. And this is Cedars-Sinai, so they're not like playing. So anyway, we're going to send that recording out. I don't know the date, but it's in the near future. So you can find out more about the elemental diet for SIBO. It's a winner. They don't have, all the studies for all the types of SIBO, like hydrogen sulfide, but it is, I think, for mixed, EMO, and SIBO. So an EMO, and that's methanogen producers and then hydrogen producers. Okay, so yes, Liz, yay. Martha, exercise and massage now cause a histamine reaction, big time. What to take before and after to quell this response?
Well, it's surprising to me that exercise and massage would cause it and not food. So that's kind of curious. But yeah, you're probably low on DAO. DAO is diamine oxidase. It's the brush border enzyme that breaks down the majority of your histamine. There's also another enzyme, HMNT, but you can't really supplement with that. So taking exogenous DAO, we have a product, HistaHarmony. Big fan of it. It's been studied in adults as well as kids for all different types of things, from fibromyalgia, ADHD, migraines, different things like that. You could take, 2 to 4 of those throughout the day, but you're also probably going to need a mast cell stabilizer if you're at the point to which your body's reacting to these sort of what I would call normal activities. And so that looks like quercetin, that looks like, Bakelin, luteolin, these types of products. Tributyrin X is also a mast cell stabilizer, and that's kind of part of our sort of mast cell approach at Healthy Gut is the Tributyrin X and the HistaHarmony, and then we always encourage people to take something else like quercetin or luteolin, something like that.
So, Reverend Walton, yes, Tributyrin X is at the same website. So you can go find that there. And Grace, go ahead and put your question, if you have one, if we haven't covered it, back into the Q&A box instead of the chat. Okay, Judy, hi. Due to treating SIBO, I had to use 2 rounds of antibiotics. And unfortunately now, on top of all else, it turned ghrelin on, and now I'm starving 24/7. I have more breaking news on this. Yet deal with chronic severe nausea, constipation, and stomach pain, and an inflamed gallbladder. Can't use ox bile and more. Yikes, I'm so sorry. I starve and eat, the nausea worsens. How do I turn the ghrelin back off? Please help.
The ghrelin's not the thing that I would focus on. Nausea is what I'd focus on. I would have your liver enzymes checked immediately and make sure that your liver is doing okay. There are other sort of nausea medications. You can get actual prescription nausea medications. I happen to know a little bit about this due to cancer in our family. I can't recall the name of them. They're very long and hard to pronounce, but there's nausea medications. You can also put peppermint oil, like your essential oils. Yeah, put it on some tissue paper or something and smell it. That's really good for nausea. Ghrelin is mostly turned off by protein first, and then the stretching of your stomach. So, like, you need volume of food to basically send out signals that you're eating, and then protein is a really good activator for turning ghrelin off. So if you can eat protein, that's the more protein you can eat, that's better, and the more volume of food. But with nausea, that's going to be your limiting factor, which is why I would focus in on nausea. Ginger tea is also a good idea for nausea. And then, like I said, I don't know what else is going on. Sounds like you're a little bit of a complex case. Get your regular levels checked. Get your liver levels checked.
Liver levels don't turn yellow checked. Okay. Yeah. So when I was talking with Dr. Seebecker and Dr. Rezai, he was also saying that the Mbiota elemental diet also impacted ghrelin, and people who were on it for the 14 days lost visceral fat, and then even kept losing it a little bit after the elemental diet was over. And ghrelin was impacted, so people weren't as hungry. So, Judy, you might want to look into that. I hope you're on I'm assuming you're on our email list at info@SIBO.SOS. Make sure. And you can also check our YouTube channel periodically. We're going to put it on there, but not right away. I'm going to treat for people who are on our email list first. Zofran, is that the name of that other drug you were trying to think of, Stephen, for anti-nausea?
Zofran, yeah, I think the generic might start with an O, and it's really long. It's like 20 letters.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it sounds similar.
Okay. All righty. Dental question. Cavitations. When things have gone deeper in the jaw, what regenerative therapies done in combination can be utilized to whatever degree of success so as to not have to install things, animals or human bone in the mouth, and all the risks and bad things that come even with a holistic dentist using regularly means to address it. Okay. So ozone therapy is amazing for cavitations. Here's the thing, you need to have the cavitations resolved. By the way, please put your questions. Oh, I see you guys are taking on the nausea medication. Otherwise, put your questions in the chat. So ozone therapy is phenomenal for cavitations. I've had one doctor tell me that ozone injections have resolved small cavitations in his patients. Everybody else I've ever talked to, which is probably about 30 of them, have said that that doesn't work. So there's a case, clinical situation where it did work. And this doctor is very into ozone therapy. So he's truly an expert. The other ones may have just been using it as an adjunct. So you really need to have the cavitations taken care of with like PRP, PRF, where they're putting your bloods, back in, and ozone at the dental office. Not too much, just right, because you can also go overkill there. And as far as having the cadaver materials put back into. And by the way, everybody, if you don't know, cavitations are when you've had an extraction of a tooth, and in that cavity, not like a typical carie, which is kids get cavities from eating sugar thing. What happens is in that tissue, it doesn't totally heal. And so it's a pocket of pus and viruses and spirochetes and all this stuff. And it can be very damaging to the body. So you have to have the proper kind of surgery where you scoop it out, treat it, clean it, stitch it up, get that healed up. Then if you need an implant, there's often, if there's not enough bone, they put a biologically neutral cadaver. You're talking to a vegetarian who really doesn't love the idea of having any stuff in her. However, I have had those because there was no alternative. I'm fine. What did you just do, Stephen, with your hands?
I've had two. I've had two bone grafts and a collagen graft.
How'd you do?
Man, I'm doing fine. These two are super fake.
Super fake? Yeah.
Yep, super not born with them. Didn't have any bone.
Wow. Sorry. Yes. See this one? That's pretty. There it is. That's my implant. Thanks very much. You're looking at $8,000 right there. So I'm just like so grateful it wasn't one tooth over, but that happened from me grinding my teeth so hard I broke my tooth, people. It was it's also the time when I was losing my hair. It was a bad time. So I've been there. I'm with you. I've also had 8 cavitations. I mean, like maybe it was 6 and 2 had to be redone. Sorry, I'm with you 100% though.
I would say for this person, find a biologic dentist doesn't mean anything. I would find someone who's seen what you have or something close to it and who does this on a regular basis. And
1,000%.
If they don't have anybody that you can talk to as a referral, keep looking, even if you have to fly somewhere or something, because I live in Boulder County, and everyone around here thinks they're holistic. And the truth is, many of these people are just, they're holistic minded, but they don't do intense cavitation work, like the stuff that Shivan was just talking about on a regular basis. And you need to find somebody that's all they live and breathe.
Thank you. info@SIBOSOS.com. You can reach out to us, and we have a copy of the Dental Health Connection Summit we can send you. And you can even I think you should get it because it's cheap and it's like a $5,000 equivalent course. However, you can also see the doctors that I talked to there and then vet them out yourself. Oh my gosh. Okay. We have to go faster. What if your lipase levels are normal, yet you struggle with digesting fats? Would you recommend lipase? Did we already do that?
Yeah, we did that one.
We did that one. Thank you. Carla. Hey, Carla. I'm taking Kieran's course as well as yours. Recommends Tributyrin X and says you can take your daily dose at one time. Would this help getting past stomach acid if you did it first thing in the morning?
With Tributyrin X, you have no stomach acid concerns. It doesn't matter if you take it all at one time. It doesn't matter if you take it at night, in the morning, with food, without food. It's an enteric-coated capsule, which, again, a lot of people don't know what that means, but that literally means it is protected from stomach acid. We test every single batch to see how long it goes. Every single capsule is still intact, well over 2.5 hours. So it's a pH-dependent capsule, and it will not open until a pH of 7. If your stomach is a pH of 7, we have a lot of other things to talk about. And you would actually probably like burp up some like nasty smell. And so that doesn't happen with these capsules. So it doesn't matter when you take it, how many you take, however you want to do it.
Okay. Oh, by the way, I'm getting a cap in January. You have to have the time. Someone's saying, are you not getting a cap? Oh, hell yeah, I'm getting a cap. And it is coming in January. So this has just been healing. One of the reasons why we're back to the dental, why it's so important to do that is because you need a top tooth to tell the bottom tooth not to move. There are a lot of reasons. Plus, it sends messages to your brain, help you with cognition, cognitive issues. So I do like having teeth on top and bottom. But yeah, it takes a while to heal and the multiple trips. And speaking of which, my biological dentist or my periodontist is 2.5 hours away. 5 hours in the car every time I go. Yep, that's right. Okay. And save up, sisters and brothers, because it is not cheap. Jan, I love biohacking and get a lot from my food marble. I've gotten very close to healing, but never long enough. I use enzymes in SBI probiotic, but those are the only health builders I can tolerate. When I'm better, I still have methane readings at night, many hours after my last meal. Jan, I wish I had my t-shirt here that says, "Are you on a prokinetic?" Dr. Seebecker gave it to me for my birthday last year because I ask that question so often. Jan, fill in the blanks for me and tell me if you're on a prokinetic. Dan, go ahead, Stephen.
And yeah, have you checked for low stomach acid?
There you go. Great. Great, great, great. Do you think the amount of kelp in HoloZyme is an issue for someone with iodine sensitivity?
No, I do not. And kelp has been phased out well over 18 months ago.
Excellent. Did you already do how does TUDCA
Yep.
work? Okay, we did that one. Thank you. Lisa, you mentioned in the masterclass that fungal enzymes are better because of pH issues. Can people with mold related issues take those?
Yes, 100%. So the mold is stimulated, and then the mold gives off enzymes to consume the environment around it. So the process of making enzymes includes a fungus, but the fungus and the enzyme are two totally different weight mechanisms. Like they literally weigh different amounts. So they take centrifuges and they spin them and they separate because they weigh different. And then our facility, they do like this 4 times purification. They do the spinning, they throw it through a bunch of things, and there's like 100% absolutely zero mold in ours. If yours is very cheap product that's coming from another country, I can't verify that, but in general, fungal enzymes are absolutely safe for mold people as long as they're made properly.
When does HoloZymes expire? I bought it a while ago, but haven't tried it yet due to the kelp.
2 years.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And know that if you buy a new bottle, whenever it's right for you, it doesn't have the kelp in anymore. Laura, I got acid reflux after taking antibiotic that successfully treated a UTI. Haven't had acid reflux for 13 years since I stopped eating gluten. Laura, what is your question there? Maybe some suggestions for acid reflux? I'm so sorry. That's the pits. That's terrible.
Yeah. So reflux again is essentially we have a sphincter at the top of our stomach or bottom of our esophagus, and one at the bottom of the stomach going into the intestines. Those are like these little sphincters like this. They open and close. The one at the top, your esophagus and your stomach, is weaker than the one at the bottom. So if your stomach acid is low and your food sits there too long, remember your body's 98 something degrees. It's like if you put kombucha in a hot car. If you leave it in a hot car long enough, that sugar is going to ferment and there will be an increased pressure and that kombucha will blow up in a hot car. If your food sits around in your hot stomach and it doesn't start to break down properly because there's not enough acid, it ferments just the same way. And the gas pressure has to go somewhere. And the easiest place for it to go is back up, pushing the esophagus open a little bit, in which case hot gases, sometimes some particles from your stomach, sometimes some acid comes up, and we have reflux. So the fastest way to get rid of this is HCl guard or doing a betaine HCl challenge. If you want to do that at home, we have our 60-day money back policy. So in case you do the HCl challenge and it's not low stomach acid like I'm talking about, that could be it. Duke University has done a number of studies on a low carbohydrate diet to treat acid reflux as well, because guess what I just said? Ferments. The carbohydrates are the things that are fermenting.
Right.
So
Right.
Immediately, if I was you tomorrow, I would cut out as many processed carbohydrates as you can, if not all of them. I'm not talking about potatoes or sweet potatoes or regular vegetables, but anything processed, get that out immediately. I think you'll feel better right away, and then do a HCl challenge.
Okay. As regarding dental, okay, somebody is saying they've had bad experiences through their friends of dental experiences cutting the trigeminal nerve, etc. And what should you look for in a biological dentist? So if you go to the IOAMT, I think it is, just look up biological dentist and you'll see like their professional credentialed organizations. And then go and look at the dentist in your area or where you travel to or where you'd be willing to travel to. And are they just registered with that organization? Like they gave them $300 and now I'm a member? Or are they teaching at the conferences? Or have they spoken at the conferences? There are different levels. So that's one way to check. And then also those referrals, and check out the Dental Health Connection Summit because those speakers are phenomenal. And also, if you're going to go to Texas and see maybe Dr. Nunnally, you're going to be paying less than if you go to Park Avenue. I'll let you take it from there. And also, like, a friend of mine just had her eyes done, and she did it in Arizona instead of California, because in Southern California, where she has her other residence, it's a fortune. In Arizona, it's like a quarter of the price. So geography does matter, but you need to find somebody in that location that is obsessed with what they're doing right there. Okay, Grace, I have no gallbladder since 1990. Should I use bile salts or ox bile with food or not? Enzymes first or both? Did you already answer this?
I mean, I've tried.
Okay.
For every single gallbladder / fat digestion issue, I believe what I said before. Enzymes first, Tudkin next, ox bile last.
Okay. Okay. 4 years ago, prior to being diagnosed with SIBO and Hashimoto's, I had an alcohol flush after just a few sips of a cocktail. I recovered from SIBO and fixed my leaky gut and still get a flush from time to time, unless on holiday. Oh, interesting. I never have more than 3 drinks per week. I do take Creon for low pancreatic enzymes and wonder if HoloZymes would be helpful when I do have a drink.
I mean, they might if you have other symptoms, but if you're getting flushing from drinking, that's almost universally a histamine reaction. So HoloZymes does not contain DIO, diamine oxidase, which is the enzyme that breaks down histamine reactions. That's histoharmony. It's also an enteric-coated enzyme out of Spain that has a bunch of studies on it. So actually for you, I would recommend picking up some histoharmony and try that right before you drink, and then, one after you drink.
So in the New Science and Wisdom of Menopause Summit, I do want to let you know, I just interviewed a functional MD who talked about the new research on breast cancer and alcohol. So I don't know, I literally can't remember right now if you put your name in there about the drinking and if however you identify, but just more than 3 drinks a week drastically increases the risk of breast cancer. So just for your consideration, maybe there's some other things that you take or drink, at least with less alcohol in it. There's a lot of research emerging about alcohol and your health beyond like it messes up your liver, but like there are a lot more long downstream ramifications. Okay. Are there any other companies other than Viome specifically using NRA for oral and gut microbiome mapping and insights for optimizing health? I have my reservations about using companies like Bristle and others that collect DNA for reasons of genetic privacy. Okay, I don't know about I don't know about anybody's policies. Obviously, 23andMe just had a total disaster, and I don't even know exactly what happened. But you would just need to reach out to the companies and find out what their policies are. I do like, and gut microbiome mapping. I mean, I don't think that Microbiome Labs is really in the business of selling people's information. That's not the vibration I got from the company as a whole, and from also meeting the head of the company, who I just met, the president of the big company. I don't know. I understand what you're saying, but also at some point, if you have to weigh like the risk of them possibly releasing some data about you, and then what are they going to do with that data that could possibly harm you? Who knows? They could make stuff up anyway. I don't know. And then you getting the information that helps move your health forward. So obviously you're trying to weigh that, and I don't have an answer for you, and I'm sorry about that. We're going to keep going. Liz, can you describe a histamine reaction? What are the symptoms?
Yeah, so Liz, most people have their own, should be no experience or should be no surprise. I like to say we're all snowflakes. We're all made of the same materials, but we all have a different pattern. So just like snowflakes are all made of water and that's been cooled and it has a different, no snowflake is the same. Your histamine reaction will not look like someone else's histamine. So some people, they get the flushing, they get nasal swelling or drainage, itchy eyes. Some people get brain fog. Other people do not experience any brain fog. Some people get tachycardia or racing heart. Some people do not experience tachycardia. Motion sickness is another one. You can have immediate bloating can sometimes be histamine, like within the first few bites of your meal can also be histamine reaction based because it's so quick. The food is like literally not even made it through your stomach yet. So that's a pretty good list. Think of allergies. Think of allergies to your environment. Think of allergies like all the commercials you've ever seen for allergy medications. Those are all histamine related things. The things that people do not know about are things like cognition related. So ADHD as well as brain fog can be histamine reactions, and then headache related. So a lot of headaches and migraines, especially the week before your cycle or the week of your cycle, is also sometimes histamine related.
What's Debbie and Roy's last name? I'm having a total mind blank.
Steinbach.
Thank you. Judy, I'm giving you the name of Debbie and Roy Steinbach. She's an amazing nutritionist and also friends with Stephen and me. I love them. Dr. Seebecker introduced me to them, and he is an MD. And if you're underweight, I would definitely reach out to them because I think they're really gifted. Joy, I'm suffering from upper left abdomen pain for over 5 years. Upper left, okay? And I've tried digestive enzymes, but no improvement. Also histamine intolerance and MCAS. At the moment, I'm taking Histaharmony and Tributyrin X2 each and quercetin. Can I use HoloZyme to improve pain? Isn't that going to depend on why you have pain, like the underlying cause there? And we're not making a medical claim, so.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely try it. The problem that I have with this question, Joy, is I really hope you've gotten some sort of imaging over the last 5 years. And I really hope you've run some regular lab work. Again, liver enzymes, iron, just the normal CMP style CM or whatever it is. My brain's not working today. But anyways, just the normal labs. So check that stuff. If you've verified you do not have some sort of physical issue going on, then, Shivan can talk to you all about strictures and scar tissue.
Adhesions, yeah.
HoloZymes can be used in between meals for pain. So we have people who have, like, say, injuries like ankle injuries or back related things, and they don't want to take ibuprofen or some sort of NSAID because of what it does to your stomach. They already have like a sensitive belly. So they'll dose HoloZyme 2 to 4 in between meals for pain, and that can be very helpful.
Judy says, just want to thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge and caring about others enough to help. You are godsends. Mwah! Well, we love you too, Judy. We just appreciate you all like showing up. We know you have other things to do, and we're just happy to be spending some time with you, and we do hope it helps. Anonymous, severe endometriosis and severe pain when I go have bowel movements and lots of gas. I'm vegan at 27 and very careful of additives. Diet. Should I be taking a certain enzyme? Let me just tell you, if you have a lot of gas from those veggies, I would definitely be doing an enzyme, and I would definitely start with HoloZyme. Oh my goodness. That could be such a game changer for you. Such a game changer. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 to 6 per meal. If you're in that much pain, you might need more for the time being.
I've never been in so much pain in my entire life, except it was from gas pain. Praying on the floor of the bathroom for it to go away. In my entire life, never been on so much pain. So I hear you, and I definitely swear by HoloZyme. Okay, how do you get a conventional dentist to treat or sport cavitations, or is that a bit of a reach? It's a reach. Don't even bother. Most don't even discuss it. That's right. It's not in their training. Don't bother. I'm looking to have an IMO AT done due to an abscess, but I've never been told of cavitations. You need to go get a cone beam, which is a 360-degree imaging, which most regular doctors don't have. It can range anywhere from being included in the price of your procedure to $600 a visit. Sometimes that includes a consult. Hopefully it does. So you need to do some research. It's worth it. Inch by inch, it's a cinch. Yes, it's a part-time job, but this is problems near your brain and then dripping down to your gut and in your sinuses, going both directions. So please, please, please get it taken care of, and do not stop until you find someone who you're comfortable with. Okay. I'm so sorry you're going through that. It's a nightmare. Trust me, I've been there. I mean, I did go to Park Avenue and have my teeth done and stayed in a hotel right across the street. So I didn't have to deal with cabs and stuff, and brought the cat and, the whole bit, and stayed there. And then I wasn't doing as well as I wanted to. So we stayed another couple of nights in this fancy, like, it was great that it was fancy. I couldn't enjoy it because I'm like in bed like this trying to recover. And so, like, I think sometimes we think, oh, I could never do that. and of course, finances are an issue. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like, heave-ho, getting up and going, like getting in the car and driving the 2.5 hours and all that. It's a pain, but ultimately for me, it has been worth it, because the alternative and having that degradation constantly happening is not worth it. So guys, Reverend, please put your question in the chat, because I see it, but I have 19 people in front of you. And Jim, I took a stool test and it indicated that I was low in several good bacteria. It also indicated that I was high in every inflammatory marker. For 6 months, I've been taking good bacteria recommended enzymes before every meal and doing my best to stay on a low histamine diet. No pathogens were found. Okay. I still have constant headaches and pain in my gums and itchy ears, and the ENT says there's nothing wrong with them. Any ideas to help my brain inflammation? Thank you, Jim. Do you want to say something, Stephen, before I go crazy on this one?
Yeah, fire your ENT, number one.
Thank
Fire
you.
your doctor suite and find some new ones.
Yeah.
You are the CEO of your body. So if you're still experiencing histamine-related reactions, despite being on a low histamine diet, despite using proper supplementation, then I don't care what the doctor says. You're the one who's right, not the doctor. And we don't have tests for all this stuff. It's not like we have a perfect, like, you know, those digital scans from a sci-fi movie that can like tell us everything we need to know about our bodies. So symptoms do matter. I would suggest, if you're not on again, a quercetin or a mast cell stabilizer like luteolin, I think can be even stronger than quercetin. I would try that immediately. And, you know, I'm gonna go with DAO again, HistoHarmony and Tributyrin X. Holoimmune, though, could be very helpful in this situation as well, like 2 per day.
Okay. Let's see. I agree. I mean, definitely go find another ENT. Let me also tell you a quick story about this ENT I went to after working in this moldy television studio for decades. And I went to him and he put the scope down my nose, and because I had a little lump on my thyroid. This is back from all of that probably. And he goes, "Oh, you have allergies, seasonal allergies." I'm like, "Nope, no, I don't. No, I do not have allergies," because my husband did. So I knew the difference. I'm like, I don't. He goes, "Well, I'm telling you, you have allergies. It's all red and inflamed in there." I was like, that's interesting. Well, the building's moldy. That might be an issue. This is me telling him. He goes, "Oh, that's not it. That could never be it." I'm like, really? And then it turns out I wrote this book about SIBO, right? While I was doing all this. And I went to him and he said, rolled his eyes literally. He goes, "Oh, you need to talk to my wife. Yeah, she's all into that." Yeah, I don't believe it. But yeah, I'm like, "Well, here are the studies for your wife. Like, take." He was just like, "Nah." So we get, and maybe you can relate to something in your life or someone you know who's been like this. Like, we get that vision and we cannot see outside our training. So get a new doc, get a cone beam so they can also assess your sinuses and see what is going on there. You have itchy ears, pain in your gums. That all to me says dental. And so I would definitely find out about your cone beam and see what it has to say. Pam, my daughter had SIBO last year and was successfully treated, but having some bloating and upset again. Was she on a prokinetic? Her GI just did an upper GI and colonoscopy. Unless he cultured, they're not going to find SIBO for that, just for the record. Here are the results. Chronic nonspecific duodenitis and mild intraepithelial lymphocytosis in the duodenum and mild chronic inflammation in the stomach antrum. Is she on any ibuprofen? I just had a colonoscopy and I had taken an ibuprofen 2 weeks prior, and 2 to 3 weeks prior, and you could see the irritation. The nurse said to me, "Oh, you had Advil recently, didn't you?" And I was like, "I took one a couple of weeks ago, I think." She's like, "Oh yeah, that irritation's from it." I was like, "What?" Yeah. So I'm wondering about that for you, Pam. Next steps: another SIBO test, bile salt check to detect bile acid malabsorption, or testing HCl in the stomach. She is waiting to get her lactose intolerance results back, but she is not eating dairy right now. Oh, lactose intolerance. Go ahead, Stephen.
I mean, we don't know, Pam, how old your daughter is. I don't know if she's a teenager or if she's 3 years old. You know, it complicates things when you're the parent and you're trying to help your kid. in a lot of ways. If she's older, like 12 and up, she could do an HCL challenge as well. Again, just Google that. It's on our site. It's all over our site. You can talk to our customer care team. We have coaches who have kids with all kinds of special needs, and so they've gone through many of these things. But the fastest way for checking for low stomach acid is just to do an HCL challenge at home, because you can wait weeks and pay $500 to get a capsule test of some type, when the answer's like right in front of you already. As Shivan mentioned at the beginning, depending again on your daughter's health history and what she's been through, she might need to be on a prokinetic for a while, 6 months, 12 months, a couple years. And she probably needs HoloZyme or some sort of digestive enzyme. Just get a, professional grade product. There's no test for enzyme deficiency. I mean, there's like pancreatic enzyme insufficiency, which is like like when you almost have zero, pancreatic enzyme, but there's no brush border enzyme testing. There's no microbiome enzyme testing. And so bloating is a very non-specific thing that's both related to the diet that you're eating, but also your ability to break down whatever diet you're eating. And so I would start there. It sounds like in general, she's just has generalized inflammation in the body. So I would question her hormones as well.
Emily, what are the benefits of Tributyrin X and how do I determine if it would help me?
So a lot of people have the story, for instance, that I took antibiotics and before antibiotics, I was like pretty normal. And then I took antibiotics and now my gut's been a wreck ever since. I have SIBO, I don't have SIBO, I have bloating, I don't have bloating, whatever it is. One of what we now know, side effects, like the reason why antibiotics are so bad for the gut is that they just indiscriminately kill bugs inside your gut. They kill good bugs and bad bugs. And when they do that, that killing process disrupts the microbiome in the way that it's processing your food. It disrupts its ability to make butyrate. And when it does that, it disrupts the metabolism of the colonocytes and enterocytes. And these are the cells that are in your gut. And they prefer to, at least in the large intestine, they prefer to use butyrate and oxygen for their metabolism. Well, if you destroy those bugs through antibiotics, then you're not going to have enough butyrate being produced because it's the only way you can do it. And then your oxygen levels go up. Oxygen levels go up, then you have dysbiosis because the healthy bugs that we want, that we consider the good bugs, they cannot live in a high oxygen environment. It needs to be a low oxygen or anaerobic environment. So Tributyrin X helps in a number of ways. One of the biggest ways is it helps reset this oxygen balance by injecting butyrate directly into the bottom of your small intestine, the top of your large intestine, where your microbiome is, to restart this metabolism, start resetting the oxygen. On the way down, it also happens to strengthen your tight junctions. It increases mucus production, which is important. A lot of people have disrupted mucus barriers. That's how you get inflammation and ulceration, whether it's in the stomach or in the intestines. So very good there. It also is a mast cell stabilizer. It's probably like butyrate in general is the vitamin D of your gut. Like without it, everything is shot. If you get enough of it, then everything has the ability to work again. So what you would use Tributyrin X for you, I'm not sure. But if you have a gut problem, you probably have a butyrate problem.
Okay. Can you suggest anything if you cannot tolerate Tributyrin X due to severe stomach pain? Stomach pain can be from so many other things. Judy, it's not enough information. I know we've answered a lot of your questions already, and thank you for being here. We love you. But are you on the HoloZymes? Have you had a SIBO breath test? Do you have visceral hypersensitivity, which many people with SIBO have? Is it coming from gas? I mean, I'm so sorry you're going through that. I think we have addressed it. And so I know one question just leads to more, but those are some things for you to start to think about.
Yeah, it's probably nervous system related. If you can't take basic supplements like Tributyrin X, it's a nervous system issue as well.
Okay, let's see. Elena, my 15-year-old son's blood test showed elevated triglycerides. He has celiac. Pediatrician told me to Google what to do. Dear Lord. I introduced fish oil, any enzymes to add. He's sensitive to fish and avocados, probably histamine. Go ahead. I got nothing. I'm so sorry.
I mean, fire the pediatrician. I mean,
Oh
at
my
least
gosh.
at least he knows when he's not aware. So I guess that you don't have to fire him, but find a functional or integrative medical person to help you along with your pediatrician, keep them because they can prescribe, but find somebody else who can run some more tests on the kid. And yeah, I would say fish and avocados are both high histamine foods. It's like a slam dunk. He has a histamine related issue. Again, what is celiac? Let's think this through. Celiac is when the villi of the small intestine are blunted, they're chopped off, they're mangled up. Those villi, what do? One of the things they do is they secrete the brush border enzymes. One of the brush border enzymes is diamine oxidase, DIO. That's what breaks down histamine. So having him take something like HistaHarmony will probably help him in the short run. But beyond that, you need to heal his gut. So that includes leaky gut, the villi, all that stuff, and probably be best to work with a integrative or functional medicine person.
And somebody who specializes in lipids. So, I mean, seriously, if you can't find someone in your area, find a lipid cardiologist, because they're going to help you with triglycerides, et cetera. And for the love of the Lord, kid, and they're going to, if that doctor says statins left and right, statins like jelly beans, you might want to just keep looking. Okay. Okay. So statins can save people's lives. So that's not where I'm coming from. Just like if that's their automatic default, let's keep looking. Okay. We are running out of time. I just want to check the clock. Okay. We have 8 minutes and 18 questions. You want to do rapid fire, Stephen?
Sure. Let's try to get as many as we can.
Okay. How does one check for low stomach acid? My doctor did an aspirate via endoscopy and it came back at a pH of 2 to 3. Would you consider that low?
No, 2 to 3 is where you want it. That doesn't mean you make enough with food though. And the only way to test is try an HCl tablet of some type with meal and see if it helps.
Okay. And check his out. Tips on hyperreaction to all supplements. You've already mentioned it. Maybe muscle cell activation, mast cell activation syndrome. How can I heal it if I can't tolerate any supplements to help?
You need to be doing vagal stimulation devices. You need to be doing nervous system resetting courses, grounding, everything that's non-food and orally activated. You have a nervous system related issue.
Guard by microbiome has helped my acid reflux. Good. Esophageal pain, and I can still take HCl Guard with food while on it. That's awesome. Great, Carla. Anonymous, whether I drink water on an empty stomach first thing in the morning after waking or within minutes of finishing a meal, I have a series of belches. Is that for sure a low stomach acid case? I happen to have B12 level below 150 on blood work and wondering if doing only daily sublingual methylcobalamin instead of getting injections every week or month would be for sure increase endogenous hydrochloric acid production, and around what range of time I can expect that to normalize without exogenous supplemental approaches. Whew! That's a big one. A lot of syllables.
There's no way for anyone to know, us or your doctor, whether you can do injections or sublingual. You're just going to have to test and keep checking your B12 levels. And I don't know if the belches are low stomach acid. You'd have to try HCl. It could be nervous system and histamine.
It could be the structure of your intestines, seriously, and just the plumbing tweaks of the way things are twerked. The other thing is, for the B12, have you had your DNA evaluated in terms of your methylation, in which case you could find out the form of, like, is methylcobalamin really your form, or is it hydroxycobalamin? Like that's a really important, like, I cannot do methylated anything. I need to do hydroxy. And I do something from Seeking Health called B-, and then I do B12 injections of the hydroxy. Karen, hey Karen, I was diagnosed with SIBO in March and have been using mostly healthy gut products pretty successfully. My only issue was gas and distension. I have my hiatal hernia fixed on November 8th. Awesome. Since then, I've had no SIBO issues. I talked to one of your consultants at Healthy Gut, and she said I can stop your products. It's interesting. Then slowly reintroduce. I still have the gas and bloating. I still can't swallow well and still on a liquid diet. Any suggestions on the gas and distension? Any help with your swallowing, I think is what you're typing, issues. That's it.
I mean, if you think it's severe, then, go back and get more imaging from the physician who performed the surgery. There's a risk with surgery where it does not heal properly, or there's a risk that the person didn't do something wrong. So just verify that like there's not something in the way of your swallowing. Beyond that, you can open HoloZyme capsules on your food, in your drink. That should help with the gas and bloating. most of the times gas and bloating are carbohydrate related. So if you can cut down your carbohydrate, which is hard if you're eating a liquid only diet, I get it. You could look at the Mbiota formula or some other elemental formula though to help in the short run.
Alexander, what's the difference between mast cell activation syndrome and histamine intolerance? Is there a different treatment protocol?
It's like a spectrum. It's like autism. So
Great.
yeah, I mean, on one end you have highly functioning autistics. On one end you have highly functioning people that have a slight histamine related issue, and on the other end you have like mast cell activation syndrome, people who cannot get out of bed. They are reacting to the world around them, the food, the water they drink.
But the question is, do you know the relationship extent of which sublingual B12 over a couple of few months or a year would translate into increases in hydrochloric acid production?
I mean, if you're low in B12, you're going to have less hydrochloric acid production, but your body is your own snowflake. I have no idea if you're low in zinc. I have no idea what other contributing factors to low stomach acid you might present. Therefore, I have no idea what dosage might actually move the needle for you.
Somebody was asking me if I remember what Kelly Kennedy said, and I don't. Okay. Guys, we are wrapping up. Thank you so much. We have answered 50 questions and we have 13 left to go. There's no way we're going to get to the rest of it. But what part of the bowels creates DAO?
The small intestine.
Okay. Guys, put some love into the chat for Stephen, please. I hope this helped you. Is your leaky gut course still available, Stephen, or when's it coming back online?
Yeah, you can still buy the Leaky Gut 2.0 course. That has the full leaky gut protocol inside of it. It has a discount on our products that is like worth the price of admission, only for those buyers. I talk about leaky gut for 90 minutes, plus there's like a 90-minute Q&A. So you should answer everything around leaky gut.
Okay. Stephen, you have a heart out. I'm going to stay here and talk about some dental issues and coffee enemas for a second. I love you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Shivan. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Okay, I'll talk to you later because I know you have to go, Stephen. And guys, do take advantage of that discount that Stephen so generously shared with us. Also, if you buy anything from Healthy Gut, you also have access to his private Facebook group, which is where those coaches are. And you also have the return policy intact. So it's really no risk. Check out his website. It's full of education. Really, really well done. Like, he's an OG when it comes to educating people online about these things and knows what he's talking about and has done a really good job of educating, as well as coming from a very high level of integrity, which is why I love doing these with him. Okay.
Thanks, Shivan. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Take care. Okay. What's my opinion on coffee enemas? I'm sorry you're hitting me now. But I think that can really help a lot of people. You don't just like go grab regular coffee. There's literally organic enema coffee you can buy. Coffee. Yeah. Enema coffee. That's right. And I know that some people like swear by them. So I think they can serve a purpose. Karen, our pleasure. I'm so sorry. I have had a horrible year. So I did a microbiome test. The results was that I was growing some Klebsiella and others. They think too many rounds of allicin for methane SIBO. I've now lost 20 pounds and don't know what else to eat. Can you suggest something? No money. Well, I'm so sorry. That's horrible. Have you had a parasite test? And, sometimes, if you do the classic ones, insurance will cover it. So I'm hoping you have some insurance. Have you done a prokinetic? How long were you on the allicin? There's just so many issues here that I want to unpack with you. And the thing about digestive enzymes is that they help you retain the nutrition from your food because you're breaking it down. So I definitely recommend, anecdotally, I've seen people do really well with digestive enzymes for retaining body weight and also actually losing body fat if you have that, simply because your body is given the proper ingredients for food digestion. So sorry, that's awful. Yes, Nancy, how you doing? We will send out the replay. Have I ever had a zinc deficiency? I have low disaccharides, enzymes, and also a zinc deficiency. I heard zinc is needed to activate enzymes. I don't know the answer to your question about zinc. I haven't heard that a lot. I've heard of B12 irregularities, and I've heard of Iron irregularities with SIBO. Zinc, I haven't heard so much. That doesn't mean that's not the case. Can zinc deficiency lead to slow motility? I have no MMC gurgling until many hours after eating. You know, the MMC, migrating motor complex gurgling, does not, your MMC can work without the gurgling, is what I'm trying to say. Unless you drink a huge cup of coffee. So don't feel like your migrating motor complex is not working just because you can't hear it. And remember, that's right. I have no MMC gurgling until many hours after eating. The migrating motor complex, which sweeps the debris out of the small intestine, which when it doesn't work can lead to SIBO, it works when you have no calories in your stomach. So that's normal to hear it. You're not going to hear it like right away. You're going to hear it, if you do hear it, not everyone does, hours after. Most people don't, by the way, hear their migrating motor complex work. So if you're putting milk and sugar in your coffee, you are inhibiting your migrating motor complex. I hope that helps you. Nobody talks about cleaning the kits. Heard someone say that the tube was moldy. Eek, running boiling water through them. And then you should definitely be cleaning the kits. Are you talking about the coffee enema kits? I think people probably think that that's common like sense, but you should definitely be cleaning the colonic kits. And I would get an ozone water maker and I would use ozone water in there. So, and change that tube out a lot. I'm new to the enzyme protocol. How will HoloZyme work on my FODMAP issues? Hey, Rita. Definitely look at it on his site. It helps with digestion. It helps with, obviously, because we've been talking about that. But if you're having a hard time digesting food, then you definitely want to look at enzymes. Remember, that's one of the first things naturopaths and SIBO specialists talk to you about, GI doctors, is doing digestive enzymes first so that they can make sure you're not enzyme deficient, because some of those symptoms from SIBO actually can be from that. And then after that, they may turn to doing a SIBO breath test, et cetera. But that's like one of the very first and easy things to do. Okay. And the protocol, just follow the label, but he said it already, I think it was 2 to 6 capsules per meal. Is floaty stool a sign of not digesting fats? Yes. Yes, it is. Are food sensitivity tests good? If so, what brand? Also, how often do you need to do this? Delia, it really depends on what you're up to. And I think there are a variety of them. If you go to Rupa Health, and you can look under Dr. Allison Seebecker, or you can go to my website at SIBOSOS.com and look at Rupa Health. There are a bunch of food sensitivity tests that she likes there. Just follow the link. So you go to you go to SIBOSOS.com and look in the shop. That's a holoimmune question. If you have holoimmune already, then I would definitely just get into that Facebook group or reach out to his customer service and answer that question. General question on using preventative imaging for whole body health. Thoughts on whole body thermography, whole body MRI, and other imaging other than the cone beam, which is dental specific. Cone beam is dental, but you can also find out stuff about your sinuses too. Not sure how to get these or other imaging affordably and where to go to get them. I've been seeing something online. It's called, like, this is not the way to say it. It's like Pronovo. Have you guys seen that? It's on social media a lot. It sounds like that. You know, that's the whole body. And Dr. Christine Schaffner and I were talking about it because my husband has long COVID and had a cardiac event, and we were really freaking out about it. He's doing much better now. But she suggested that because my husband's father died of a aneurysm, and we wanted to make sure that he was not susceptible to that. I think it's called Pronovo. I'm sure you can Google it. They're expensive within, I don't know, I think it was like around $3,000, and they are not in all major markets. But I would like to do it. I think that would be fantastic. Hello, what changes one can expect from taking the HoloZyme? It's HoloZyme, by the way. I've been told by a practitioner that I may not be digesting protein well. If I use the HoloZymes, what should I expect to happen? Good question. Just feel better, more energy. Will my muscle tone improve? My adrenals are also stressed. Another question, do taking these mess up with your gut biome? Diane, I would say that it would help your gut microbiome because you're sending components of your food into the gut microbiome so we can digest and process the nutrition there more easily. Also, what can you expect? Well, if you have any food reactions. It can help with that. Digesting your food is phenomenal for your health, right? So it's literally the recipe that you need to help you survive. So you could feel all those things, but certainly less digestive discomfort. Is gastritis a sign of leaky gut? Trina, I'm so sorry. I don't know the answer to that question. That's like inflammation. I could see how it would be because leaky gut is an inflammatory condition. Right, you have the villi that aren't tight, and then Stephen has more information about the different layers of the mucus on top of the villi. And when that's not working and food can get through, it creates an inflammatory response. Okay, I have a pretty bad degree of a deviated septum, but not to the point where others can hear me breathe, my breathing. Okay, and I don't have much of a sinus issue or issues inside the nasal area. Do you think risks of potential harms are worth it to correct the deviations? Well, I think there are a couple of different ways you can correct a deviation. There are like radio waves you can put in there. There's surgery, which is more severe. Do you like your doctor? Have you had a cone beam done? Have you gone to a sleep dentist that can help assess how much that deviation is impacting your sleep? And do you have mild to moderate or severe sleep apnea? Those all can be, which is a very important thing to assess. And that can all be part of a deviated septum story right there. How does one check for low stomach acid? I hope he talked about that earlier. We did talk about that one. Okay. I have really receded gums with the brownish orangish stuff all over the bottom row of the teeth when I look in the mirror where the gums are gone. I'm so sorry. Do you know if paying for PRP will regenerate the gum tissue and adhere there after a hygienist or dentist removes all the brownish orangish stuff where bleeding, I'm sure, will result? Don't want an oral surgeon to surgically remove tissue from other areas of the mouth or body to replace those super receded gums, and not sure if they would even stick or recede within a year or two. Okay, let's talk about this. Why is this happening? Let's go to the root cause of the root problem there. So if you're talking about PRP, chances are you are talking to a more biologically inclined dentist. Why don't you want an oral surgeon to surgically remove tissue from other areas of the mouth or body to replace those super receded gums? I have had that done. Prior to being a biological dentist person, this was like in, what year was it? Like the early 2000s. That mold was causing a lot of sinus problems for me. So I had mild sleep apnea. So I was grinding my teeth. It's a whole vicious cycle. And I was really hurting my gums by doing that. And my mother, you hear the stories in the dental summit about my mother having dentures in her prior to 70 and my father keeping his natural teeth till he died at 82. So I've been very aware of this, and it's a long story, but I did have the tops of my roof of my mouth, just queams you to think about it, sewn into place underneath here. And my gums are great. So it's not an issue. And at that time, they did not even have like this mouth retainer thing that covered the roof of the mouth. You just had to like be careful what you ate. And like, I didn't move for 10 days. It was intense, but it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And that particular surgery for me has served me well over the years. So I want to ask you, like, what is your resistance to that? Because it sounds horrific. It sounds tough. It wasn't that bad, but why do you have the brown oranges stuff where bleeding or at the base of your roots? That is a major, major problem, and you need to get to the root of why that's happening. And I would definitely look at Promo Life and their ozone treatments, like the ozonated tooth oil that they have. It's think of Vaseline. It's not Vaseline, but it's like a hemp oil, and they have other oils that have been infused with ozone, and their dental product is sort of a minty product. It's phenomenal, and that could help, but you need to find out why that's happening. So what is generating that? That's a serious medical situation. So please get with the proper support there. Sorry, no insurance. I now have hydrogen sulfide. I was told only probiotics, no antibiotics. Who told you that? I couldn't afford the 900 Trio Smart Breath test. Is it $900? I don't think it's $900. I don't have a naturopath and my physician doesn't. So get for $20, buy Healing SIBO, the book I wrote about all this, $20, Amazon, might even be on sale right now. And hopefully that will educate you so you can kind of reconnoiter your thought pattern about that, because I don't know, told only probiotics, no antibiotics. My doc has me on pancreatic enzymes because they're low on a test a couple of years ago. I'm 77, so you think I should do this forever? Hey, Lou, I don't know the answer to your question. I'm not a doctor, and even if Stephen was here, I don't think he would address that to say you should be on them forever, but I would definitely try it and see how it goes. It's pretty safe, and you might love the result. What are the most powerful countertop reverse osmosis and distilled water systems by this Cyber Monday week? Ooh, that's such a good question. So I do have a countertop distiller. I just got one on Amazon. It was very basic. It lasted 3 years of almost like every other day use. And I am also trying an Aqua True. So we are, jury's still out for me, but I am trying the Aqua True, and I do love my reverse osmosis, my distiller. It's super easy. It's kind of loud. And that's what we do. Shivan, sorry the message wasn't complete. They say now that I have a hydrogen sulfide, couldn't afford the $900 Trio Smart test. They told me to remove oxalates. Okay. Told me no antibiotics, but 2 kinds of probiotics. Any help, please? As the hydrogen sulfide group is overwhelming with mold, histamine, etc., I don't know what to eat. I'm starving all the time, skin and bones. I would definitely look into Mbiota, which when we send out the recording from Dr. Ali Rezai, we are going to give you a 20% coupon for, so that could help. You know, hydrogen sulfide group. Okay, I guess it's a Facebook group. I'm so sorry. I don't think that $900 is the cost of the Trio Smart test at all. I do not think that's what the price is. I'm not saying it's free. I think it's in the $300 range. It's not $900. No way. No way, no way, no way. And they just had a coupon for like 20% off. So go to their website and see. I don't know if it's still valid because, you know, it's now Tuesday after Cyber Monday. But check that out. And there's like all of these, go to my YouTube channel, SIBO_SOS, and look up what they're talking about. Dr. Seebecker, Dr. Pimentel about hydrogen sulfide. There's a lot of information there. Okay. Hey, Mary Beth, I've been taking LDN for about 5 months. I need to go in a minute. I'm up to 2.5 milligram now and haven't seen any improvements in my IBS or restless leg. So have you gone to Prenovo? Thank you, Dan and Rita, around 350, and Medicare covered it. Awesome for Trio Smart. Sorry, couldn't see that before. Okay. LDN works as a prokinetic, a mild one. Often people have to take another one with it. So that's how it would help your IBS. But if your IBS is caused by SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, or intestinal methanogen overgrowth, you're not going to really see it. Like taking LDN is not going to fix your IBS. That's my personal opinion. And once you resolve SIBO, often restless leg goes away. So get my book or come to SIBOSOS.com to learn more, because it's a bigger picture than just one thing. It's a 9-step protocol that has proven to work over and over again. Oh my gosh, 5 more questions and I'm going to try to get out of here. And I'm trying to help as well. Are the top 2 to 3 water pick brands on TV commercial of one that goes through all the teeth in 10 secs, jetting water between the teeth, and top 2 or 3 picks of electric toothbrush, make and model, and an extra soft bristle? I love a soft bristle. You know, water pick is fine. Any of those national brands, even some of the other brands are good. You know what? You're jetting water. So I don't really think it's going to be really, really brand specific. I like going with big brands sometimes because I know they know what they're doing and because they've done it so often. And if you do electric toothbrush, make sure you get the extra soft head. So I think I have a Sonicare. I have some of the more obscure brands. I have like 3 electric toothbrushes that did the holistic dentals you've interviewed seem to recommend their reasons. So one website I would definitely go to is the Dental Hygiene Queen. I love her. She has lots of product recommendations, and she does recommend, the brands that I just talked about. And she has a couple of things up her sleeve with different brands there. I was hesitating towards electric toothbrushes because with damaged gum tissues, I thought if you get the soft bristle and you don't press too hard, I think it could actually really help. Not sure your thoughts on the biological dentist thought on whether the fast RPMs of these electric devices could cause gum to recede. I have never, ever heard that before. What I have heard is don't press too hard. I've never heard any dentist I've never heard any dentist say that they did not like an electric toothbrush. Cannot press too hard. Because sometimes you're like, it's more like place it on the area and let it do its job versus like using manual and the electric at the same time. Just like place it and then keep moving. Oh, I'm so sorry about a concussion 2 years ago with poor tolerance to overstimuli like background noise, newborn crying, and several people talking at once. That is also being a highly sensitive person or an HSP, and you can look up HSP. I think it's called HSP. What's it called? Highly sensitive people. There's books about it. It can be also from mold. That is a central nervous system issue. I have been there. I've been there. How do you know if you have a problem with oxalates? I think it can be indicated in your genetics, and also if you've been prone to calcifications, kidney stones, and the like. There are some people that really specialize that online, and I'm sure that there's a Facebook group about it. How long will the replay for this be up? If receiving follow-up email, going to YouTube, we leave them up all the time. So we're going to leave it up for like into perpetuity. Oh my gosh. I got to everybody's question to the best of my ability. I thank you all so much for being here. I wish you all the best. Do not give up. That resilient mindset is essential for dealing with chronic conditions, but just know that once you treat that chronic condition, even part of it, you can feel so much better and get the energy you need to continue to keep going. Please. I know what it's like to be hypervigilant. I know what it's like to go, screw it, I'm not even going to do anything. There's a spectrum like Stephen was talking about. There's an ebb, there's a flow. It's seasonal. It's stressful if you find you're more irritated because you've been in a mall or you've been in an environment where they had a lot of chemicals. Treat yourself well. Care for yourself. Give yourself TLC and know that, you are precious and you deserve to be well. And then also make smart decisions. Do your best to really love yourself and make those wise decisions. Like I had too many yucky, like not appropriate foods for me over the holidays, and I paid for it. It was so not worth it. And, I've been paying attention to this for a really long time, and it was fun, but wasn't. It was like not fun whatsoever. It was so not worth it. And that's when it also comes to like communicating to your host. You don't want to be difficult. We get it. Bring something, I don't want to make like a big fuss, but I'm going to bring my little whatever in my Tupperware container. Is that okay with you? Fine. If you have a host that I'm assuming is going to be welcoming to that. There's a lot of dynamics involved, I know, but is it worth to not feel well? No, it is not worth it. I hope it helps. Okay, Lucy and everybody, Rita, JF, Foley, Liz, Lisa, all of you, thank you so much. Please take care of yourselves. You deserve to be well. You deserve to be well. You deserve to be well. Remember that, because you have a lot of things to do in this lifetime. You have a lot of people to take care of. Are you treating yourself as well as you ask your loved ones to treat themselves? Like if you have kids, are you treating yourself as well as you would treat them? If you have a husband, your partner, whatever, are you treating yourself as well as you're nagging them to treat themselves well? So something for you to consider, because that's the kind of self-reflection and interior authority that you need to activate in order to take really good care of yourself. And it doesn't have to happen overnight, but it is a mindset that requires fine-tuning. All right. Love you. Thank you. Bye-bye. I'll talk to you next time. Hugs, hugs, hugs. And by the way, be sure to look for the webinar information for tomorrow's frequency-specific microcurrent course with Dr. Rob Van Bergen. If you don't have that invitation, email us at info@sibosos.com. I'm not going to type it because we're going. Okay, because that's really a big game changer for pain.